All the Disney parks are seriously overrated, and at least for Walt Disney World in Florida, definitely not worth visiting. Here's why. The reason why I think the Disney parks are seriously overrated comes to the fact that you have to do so much planning before and during your visit to the Disney parks. And now it's not the case that at other parks you won't have to do planning, because every amusement park you will have to plan something. But with the Disney parks, they just take it a whole step further. For one, you have park reservations still being active, even despite COVID restrictions being well lifted at this point. And to further the amount of planning you do, you also have to book hotels well in advance to actually get a room. And also, same with the dining reservations, and especially with Genie Plus, which at these Disney parks, which will get huge crowds, is something you'll definitely want to look into. As you can do these Disney parks without Genie Plus, but it's definitely not ideal. The good thing is, comparing Genie Plus to other skip the line passes at other amusement parks, Genie Plus is surprisingly affordable, but other than that, like just the whole Disney experience is just downgraded so much because you have to do so much planning. Like for instance, if you want a shot at getting Genie Plus reservations for these rides, you have to be at the Disney app basically 24/7 during your park visit. And same thing goes when it comes to dining reservations. And if you have a hotel, you can even book these out, I think like 60 days in advance. So like stuff like that does help, but it's just clearly a bottleneck and a pain that you just don't have to worry about with other parks. So that is why, like, I just feel like Disney is just horrible because the amount of planning you have to do. Like with other parks, sure, you'll want to plan what rides to do when, but other than that, you really don't have to do much planning. And also, like, you have to plan on when to arrive and what rides to do, but other than that, you don't have to do much planning. So I just don't understand why these Disney parks are just so freaking horrible because you have to plan out every little thing from like the moment you plan on visiting to like the moment you get off property. And it just turns Disney vacations into stress. And last time I checked, the definition of vacation was a relaxing excursion. The Disney parks are just the opposite of a relaxing excursion. So, I mean, I know Disney management will not change how these parks are operated in terms of like reservations, Genie Plus, and like all the other planning necessities. But still, the planning that goes into making the perfect Disney vacation, which it doesn't exist, is just so crazy and just like overkill, especially if you're used to visiting your average amusement park. In my opinion, though, the biggest issue with the Disney parks comes down to pricing. At least comparing Walt Disney World to the other parks in Florida, like SeaWorld Orlando, Busch Gardens Tampa, and Universal, a one-day ticket to any of the Disney parks will typically cost you between $140 and $160. And let me just tell you, that is borderline highway robbery with what you are getting at these Disney parks. If you want more explanation, you can check out my comparison between Universal Studios and Disney's Hollywood Studios, which I will put in the card above. But continuing with the video, like just compare the one-day ticket to like Busch Gardens Tampa, SeaWorld Orlando, and Universal, which are all pretty expensive between the $100 and $110. And yeah, you can get these one-day tickets for cheaper, but still, like I just feel like with Busch Gardens, SeaWorld Orlando, and Universal, you're just getting so much more value because like the Disney parks are geared towards kids and families. But Busch Gardens, SeaWorld, and Universal both will cater to those families just as well if not better in some areas, than the Disney parks do. And plus, for the thrill seekers like people like me, they offer some serious thrills. Like, just look at rides like Mako, Manta, Iron Gwazi, Kumba, Montu, the Incredible Hulk Coaster, and freaking Velocicoaster. Those are all crazy thrill rides that you just won't get at the Disney parks. And that is why I think the pricing is just absolutely almost to the highway robbery levels of insane with these Disney parks. Now, continuing with pricing, let's compare the annual passes at these Disney parks compared to Florida's other main destinations. Now, the cheapest annual passes at Disney will cost you $400 per person, which is quite stupid expensive, but definitely a lot more reasonable considering the cheapest Universal Pass is only $75 cheaper. But yes, $75, that is a pretty big difference. And if you thought that was a big difference, Busch Gardens, Tampa, and SeaWorld Orlando to get a fun card for all year long are like $130. And plus another added bonus with Busch Gardens, Tampa, and SeaWorld Orlando, they often do these promotions where if you buy a fun card for Busch Gardens or SeaWorld, you get their water parks, which are Adventure Island and Aquatica, free. Which that promotion isn't always active, but if that promotion is active, it makes these parks a much better deal. I just can't express how good of a deal Busch Gardens and SeaWorld are compared to Universal and Disney when it comes to pricing, because you are arguably getting better thrills, at least arguably when comparing them to Universal, and especially with Disney. Like, I mean, at Busch Gardens Tampa, you're getting freaking Iron Gwazi, Kumba, Montu, which are all three great D&Ms. And at SeaWorld, you're also getting other great rides such as Manta, Kraken, Mako, and Icebreaker, which are all great. And at Universal, you're getting Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure, Velocicoaster, which I haven't ridden yet, but I will be riding soon, so stay tuned for future videos on Universal. And you also are getting the Incredible Hulk Coaster, Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket, Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts, which are all borderline great attractions. So, like, that's why I just think the pricing at Disney is just so overkill and almost highway robbery. The specific problems with the rides at Disney parks is just that, one, you've had a lack of recent additions. Like parks like the Magic Kingdom and Epcot have gotten recent additions, like Tron Light Cycle Power Run will be opening this year, and Guardians of the Galaxy just recently opened. But Hollywood Studios hasn't gotten a major new addition well since Galaxy's Edge, which was a pretty big addition, and then Toy Story Land. But out of all four parks, Animal Kingdom has gone a crazy long time without getting major additions, because at least what I'm aware of, the last major addition to Animal Kingdom was with Pandora in 2016, and a lot of these additions are pretty good. Well, except for Toy Story Land. That's pretty trash, and is honestly on par with Six Flags. But other than that, I just think the Disney parks just have an overemphasis on dark rides. And this is kind of funny. A lot of these problems are the same issues I used to have with the Universal parks. Because, like, for example, before Hagrid's and Velocicoaster, the Universal parks just constantly added dark rides. Like, you had Despicable Me, Minion Mayhem in, like, 2012. Then you had Transformers in, 2014, I think. Then you had, like, Skull Island Ring of Kong in, like, 2016. Then you had Fast and Furious Supercharged, that disaster, in 2018. And then after that, then Universal actually put their game on and started giving us impressive additions like Hagrid's and Velocicoaster that I'm pretty sure are both great attractions, which I will be riding later this year. And it's just funny because, like, Universal basically dug Disney into that trap, because Universal had been adding so many cookie cutter dark rides. So then Disney thought, that would be a successful business model. And then when Disney started doing it, then Universal just flipped the switch on them and then started adding bangers like Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure and Velocicoaster. And then also, another problem I have with the Disney parks is just they need more koshers. And yes, Tron Light Cycle Power Run and Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind do help this out a bit, but still, I just think the Disney parks need more koshers. And especially with the removal of Primeval Whirl at Animal Kingdom, which, in my opinion, did not fit at a Disney park whatsoever. Like a spinning wild mouse with basically no theming. Like at a Disney park, are you freaking kidding me? Like what's going on here? But I just think the Disney parks just need more koshers. And I'm not saying like they need stuff like Iron Gwazi or Velocicoaster. Heck no, that's way out of their target audience. But I'm just saying, give us more stuff on the lines of Guardians of the Galaxy or Tron that are rides that the whole family can enjoy that aren't super thrilling, but do add some thrills and good theming that the thrill seekers can appreciate. So, I mean, those are my 3 biggest issues with the rides at the Disney parks. Now, if you enjoyed that rant about the Disney parks, check out my comparison between Universal Studios and Disney's Hollywood Studios. And also remember to subscribe to Southeastern Thrills and also like and share this video to anybody who you know will be planning a Florida vacation soon. And peace.